In the bullpen today, I have back my longtime friend and conservative commentator, Shelly Wynter. Shelly interviewed Marjorie Taylor Greene right at her resignation time. She has some interesting things to share. We're going to talk about that interview, and also, I want to know Shelly's updated politics, either before that interview or afterwards. Has it changed in it? Shelly, good day, brother. Welcome to Indisputable.
Hey, what's going on, brother Richey? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you been, brother?
I've been wonderful.
Good
Numbers are
stuff, man.
good. Show is going great. Everything's good.
Amen to that.
95.5 WSB, 7 to 9 p.m. every night.
Shelly, you and I have had debates about some interesting political dynamics before, and I thought you were completely off your rocker. All right. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes on your show, and it seemed as if there's more light there than before. But I want to get into why you wanted that interview and what you took away from some of the key points of the interview. I got some specifics I'm going to ask you about, but I want to get your overall assessment of her interview with you.
Well, I've been defending Marjorie Taylor Greene on my show for the last several months, actually, because her, Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, and a few others are really the only Republicans that I can see who are willing to say when they disagree. I have spoken out a couple times on a couple things. It started with the big beautiful bill, where I was actually slated to sit and do interviews at the Georgia GOP convention, and the day before I was told that I couldn't do it anymore because I was so critical of the big beautiful bill. So yeah, I had been defending Marjorie Taylor Greene, particularly here in Georgia, against those people on my team in MAGAville, if you will, who turned on her like that, lickety split. And these are people that liked her very much. So I've been defending her. And so I've been waiting for that interview. It was scheduled a couple days before. But I wanted to get that interview because a lot of people don't know. I interviewed Marjorie Taylor Greene when she first announced, when I was on another station here in Georgia in the mornings, she first announced she was running for the 6th congressional district. So I had her on first person to ever get her on radio, interview, anything, before the world knew who she was. And then I happened to just get her on the last day of her time in Congress, on the 5th.
I want to take this out of the political spectrum, brother, because I really believe what we're facing is so beyond politics that if we contextualize it through the political spectrum, that is how they play the sides against each other. So let us come out of that political spectrum in order to have this conversation. I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene started to come out of that political spectrum when she agreed to come to this network, to the TYT network, and do an interview, knowing whatever the agreement was prior, knowing it could go south, no matter what, right? It's live and you don't have any barriers or controls during the live segment, just like this one. You come on here in good faith, right? She said things that really should not be part of a debate. We should all agree that elected officials should not be threatened with physical violence or death. There's no other side of that debate. I don't care what party you belong to. We should all agree that the Epstein files was in fact a campaign thing that many people, many Americans, regardless of the political affiliation, felt strongly about, period. And there should be lawmakers, regardless of political affiliation, willing to hold the powerful accountable, even if their president is part of their own party system. These are norms, in my opinion, that should always be classified in our daily discourse in the political arena. What say you to that?
I mean, I agree with all of that. The problem is, you talked about how the powerful keep us at each other's throats because neither side is willing to criticize their own. And I'm not trying to do whataboutism. Please understand that. I'm just simply saying that I'm coming to the same conclusion that Marjorie Taylor Greene came to. And I've come to it over the last 6 or 7 months. I say on my show all the time, I voted for Donald Trump in 16, 20, and 24. The last election, I basically went as far as I could without renaming my show Donald Trump for President show, right? So I have a responsibility, forget to my audience for just a second. I have a responsibility to myself to hold him accountable because of all the support that I gave. And so I now am looking at this through the lens of a guy who voted for you 3 times. I'm going to be extra critical. I'm not going to be less than critical. I'm going to be extra critical because I voted for you. And I think that we as voters on both sides, the reason why they're able to take advantage of us, and I'm talking about the powerful, the people in power. The reason how they're able to take advantage of us is because they allow us to believe that you, because you disagree with me, or you, because you're a Democrat or progressive, whatever it is, that you're the enemy instead of the guy who's making the decisions, whether it's right or left, that person's really hurting my household.
Right.
Rashad Richey and a Democrat voter doesn't hurt my household.
That's
Putting
right.
in policies that may be against what you said you were going to do hurts my household.
Very well said. And I want to echo that point because I've been in that arena for a while, brother. I'm not exactly the invited Democrat to anybody's ball because I'm willing to criticize Hakeem Jeffries. I'm willing to criticize a Joe Biden, the policies that are presented by Nancy Pelosi. These are responsibilities that you have as a person, but also as a person who's trusted by other people. And sometimes, and you've seen this too, Shelly, and I'm sure you got some colleagues or some people that you know in the industry who do this. They'll support somebody, and then if that person starts to make decisions adverse to their support, I supported Hakeem in the beginning. Of course I did. And then I criticized, it went 3 damn months he was in there before I had to criticize him for a policy decision. And so I get that. I don't feel as if I need to be somehow connected to these individuals in life. I feel very similar to what you said, that I'm already paying attention to you because I helped you in the public narrative or in the endorsement. I need to always hold you accountable to the public good that you said you would bring. Where do you think this goes, Shelly? Because there's a trend. I see some of that trend happening even in the Democratic angle. I saw a letter when Biden was president. There's a letter that was written, open letter written by Congressman Hank Johnson that had about 30 or 40 lawmakers who signed that letter, who told Biden he was violating the Constitution, basically, by engaging in this warfare without congressional approval, giving arms, giving weapons to Israel.
Biden or Trump?
Huh?
Biden or Trump?
No,
Biden
this
or
was
Trump?
Biden. No, they
Right,
sent
okay,
the letter to Biden, brother.
Biden, gotcha.
These were
But
Democrats that sent the letter to Biden.
Right.
Now, did all the Democrats sign? Hell no, they didn't sign it.
Right.
Did it get a lot of publicity? Nope, didn't get a lot of publicity, but it's part of the record. It is there. It's an open letter. Those things were rare until this dispensation of politics. And so I see something happening. What do you see happening?
I agree. I'm getting attacked. When I had Marjorie Taylor Greene, his fascinating story. If you give me a little time,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was when I had Marjorie Taylor Greene on, I was attacked by people who loved me a month ago.
Yeah.
But then I also saw the people that were attacking me for having that conversation with her were attacking her, and they loved her more than they loved me. And so what I'm seeing is that that's a small number of people, and she actually said it in the interview, that that's a small number of people. What I'm seeing is that people are starting to realize that they're being played by everybody. So the left is starting to realize that Democrats will run, get in office, not do anything. A la, say, Hakeem Jeffries in your case, right? I'm not saying that he's not doing anything, but you understand my point.
Right.
We're seeing it on our side. The big, beautiful bill. Every single Republican in Georgia ran on cutting spending and cutting the deficit, and then passed the bill that exploded spending and exploded the deficit. So people are seeing that. I think if you really want to see what the future holds, there's a race, a Senate district, I want to say 15. I may be wrong on the number. It's tonight. It's a special election in a 60-40 Republican district in South Georgia. The guy running as a Democrat is not only a Democrat, but is a way far left Democrat, supported by Working Families Party, Democrat Socialists of America, et cetera, et cetera. They're saying Republicans are not turning out. Now, it may change between now and 7 o'clock when the polls change. But I think if we pay attention to that race, if it's a close race, what it will tell you is that Republicans are getting increasingly not upset at Trump, and I'm doing air quotes, but they're increasingly getting upset at the Republican Party for getting in power and not doing anything for working class and middle class people. And I think that's going to be the story in the midterms. It's not going to be about Trump's tweets and things like that. It's going to be what the party has not done for people. And that's essentially what Marjorie Taylor Greene was focused on when she announced she was resigning.
Shelly, I think a lot of this comes down to the collective frustration felt by a two-party system.
That's
Uh,
what's next, Rashad.
that's
That's what's
that's
next.
there you go. So we got a few minutes. I want to talk about that briefly. It is utterly insane when you look at it contextually. You analyze the effectiveness or lack thereof of a two-party system. Two-party system. That two-party system does not make it easy for you. It does not make it easy for me. It does not allow us to select our elected leaders. It allows us to elect rather than select. And so we now have this limited option of these two companies, these private organizations, Democratic Party, Republican Party. And these two private organizations first vet by way of their closed door methodology who becomes the heir apparent, who's presented to you on the slate of this party or that party. And there's a collective frustration because there is no person who can thoughtfully and courageously and morally and ethically say that either party magnifies perfectly every value that they actually believe in. I know black folk can't say that completely for the Democratic Party at all, based on policy, et cetera. And so I know that the same is true for the Republican Party. So now you have this chipping away, but the chipping away has been happening from the progressive wing of the Democratic Party to the Tea Party revolution inside the Republican Party. It's a frustration with the two-party system. The two-party system is only easy for one demographic, and those are the companies that can buy both of the systems and continue to rule, reign, and while we argue and debate. What say you?
I mean, in the interest of time, I would just say kudos. I'm on the air every night, 7 to 9. I'm not trying to promote myself.
No,
Look
well, you
me up,
should,
Shell.
brother. That's why you're
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Great
95.5
commentator.
WSB. I've been saying that for the last 7 months, honestly. And the way they keep us at each other's throats is by making each other the enemy. I'm not supposed to be. I was just that. She knows I'm not going to vote for her. Probably not going to vote for her. 99% chance I'm not going to vote for her. But I was just invited to Keisha Lance Bottom's birthday party, and nothing but Democrats in that room. My
Right.
point is that we are supposed to be able to. Dr. Richey, Shelly Wynter are supposed to be able to sit down and say, "Hey, what do you like about this policy?" "Well, I like this." You're supposed to say, "I like that." And we're supposed to have that discussion and walk away saying, "Okay, we'll see what happens."
Yep.
Or what we're supposed to be able to do, what should happen, is we both walk away from that conversation that we have about a particular policy and say, "Hey, my Republican friends, I think I like this policy, but we need to do X." And
Yeah.
you walk away and say, "Hey, I like this policy, but we need to take away Y." And then that way we both can get the policy that we agree on, because there's there's less that we disagree on than what we agree on. And so I think that how they keep us separated is how they keep their power. And I see that dwindling more and more and more. And I don't know if I'll be around. I'm a little older than you, but I don't know if I'll be around to see it. But I truly believe that we're going to have a multiple party system within the next 7 to 10 years, within the next 3 presidential terms.
You'll be around to see it, dear brother. Lifelong wishes to you, as always, man. And
Appreciate that.
I'm thankful for. Listen, man. Listen. Folk are gonna say he wasn't saying that last year. I don't give a damn. I'm glad he's saying it this year. He didn't think
Well,
like that.
I'm saying, actually, I'm saying the same thing I was last year. I really am.
No, but I'm
I'm
saying
just.
when my point is when you said I've been saying this for 7 months. What I'm trying to do is buffer something.
Oh,
Like
so yeah.
right. It doesn't matter if he's been saying it for 7 months. We all have the ability, the right, and really the personal requirement to evolve. We're here for evolution. We're not here to stay stagnant. And so evolution on any level should be celebrated. And so I've evolved from day one to day whatever it is now. All right. And so I appreciate your honesty, brother.
Yeah,
And
and I
definitely
don't
look
want
at
to
that
get.
election tonight.
Let me just say this. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I'm still a conservative. I'm still going to vote mostly Republican.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be holding my people accountable more than maybe I held them accountable before.
And this was never about Republicans. It became very personality driven, and then the MAGA thing happened, and
Mhm.
then Donald Trump's son was like, "There's no more Republican Party; it's only MAGA now." They were openly hijacking not just the name and the brand, but in a very real way, some of the values and some of the standards that would allow us to have a simple conversation were being
And I would
taken
say
out of the equation.
And I would say at that time, I didn't necessarily agree with it because there were things in the Republican Party I did not like. However, I don't like what they've taken out of the Republican Party. I'd rather have been some other problems that I had with the Republican Party. I'm not happy with what they've taken out, but I don't regret my vote. I make the same vote. I gotta hold them accountable. That's it. I mean, I think, like I said at the beginning, you hold your side accountable, as you said you've always been doing. I'll hold my side accountable, and eventually people will start to hold them both, and more people will become independent voters, which is really at the end of the day what we need.
And that makes everybody fight for your vote. See how that works?
That's it.
All
Yeah,
right.
well,
Thank
that's
you,
what I've been
brother.
saying. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I appreciate
God
you,
bless.
man. We'll talk.
Peace. All right.